Okay, recording in progress.
All right, make sure I have all my stuff silenced.
Mhm.
Okay.
All right, thanks. Guess what? It's that time again with the Safety Man podcast on Safety Man Consulting, safetyman.co, on all social media at safetyman.co to keep you safe. Part of keeping you safe is keeping you healthy, functional, and I want to keep you above the curve or faster, stronger, and better than any potential opponent, adversary, or someone who would do us harm. So I'm here again with Andrew Tylander. This is our third in our series of podcasts that we've done together, also on YouTube. So you can watch us. And if you're driving safely, you can listen to us. Obviously, we don't want you watching while you're driving. Andrew Tylander is a patient care coordinator from Hormone Health and Wellness of the Palm Beaches down in sunny Florida. Although I'm up in sunny Jersey right now. We're just coming out of a heat wave. Andrew, how are you, brother?
Yeah, good. Can't complain.
What's the temperature down there? What's the weather?
This morning when we woke up, I think it was 93.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, it's much hotter now.
Okay.
About probably 95, close to 100. But
Okay.
this time of year, that's pretty standard. 150 million% humidity and 100 degrees.
Like scuba humidity kind of needed out there?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Swim outside. But that's why we can brag about having 70 degrees sunny
Yeah.
weather in the wintertime and Christmas Day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not, I'm not complaining. We just came out, it was 100 yesterday up here in New Jersey. Is ridiculous.
Yeah.
So, whatever. It's good. I like this better than the snow. You know what I mean?
Yeah, me too.
I hate the snow.
The snow's fun to visit. I wouldn't want to live in it though.
No, negative. Negative. I don't like it. I don't like driving it. I had to work in it for 25 years for half of the year, handling all those crashes and so forth. All right. So let's kind of get to the meat of what we're here to talk about today. And again, it's keeping you, me, your clients, everybody that I know, keeping us better. Like better. I like the phrase, I want us better, stronger, faster, everything better. Or recovering from where we may have been and getting better that way. So being better or getting better kind of thing. So I know there's a lot of things that Hormone Health and Wellness does. And one of the things is peptides. And I was just visiting my doctor and I was talking to her about it. And there are literally two guys from a peptide company in her office when I was walking out trying to sell her on peptides. So they're there. So can you explain to me and our viewers and listeners what that actually is?
Okay. So peptides essentially are a category of medication that are a grouping of branched amino chain acids that are placed together in such a specific way that they, when entered into the body via injection, oral, nasally, sublingually, transdermally, there's a lot of different applications methods. Once they get into the system, they act as a set of instructions for the body to reconfigure its own processes, the way that it does things that it's already doing. So you're not adding anything new to the body, you're just helping the body to do what it already does in a better method. So, and like I said, it's not a chemical. It's not something that reacts to other things that are in the body, that like would have a chemical reaction, if you will, that causes something to happen. It takes things that are already going on and just makes them better through the branched amino chain acids.
Okay. Oh, I guess my word better that I literally just made up kind of fit.
Yeah.
that was a good accident. So what you're saying is there's a branched chain amino acids, which, I take after the gym. I think that's in like every protein, right? Like all proteins are made out of that kind.
Correct. Yes, correct. That is correct.
Okay. So this isn't like something wild that's out of the blue. Our body's used to seeing this stuff.
No, it's not wild or out of the blue. It's just something that is, I guess previously it would have been considered fringe science, but now that there have been so many advances and developments in this field, it is becoming more and more common to where your instance where you were walking out of your own, general practitioner's office and ran into two guys that were pitching them on peptides. General practitioners are starting to bring it on. Those plastic surgeons, those are really, really popular, for the skin healing and weight loss and recovery for a couple of reasons. But more so now we're starting to see a lot of general practitioners asking for help and tutorials and things like that on what do I do with these things?
All right, so let's start from there. What can we do with those?
Yeah. Okay. Well, for instance, I mean, there's so many.
Yeah, and I have
But
questions that I want, but you're the professional.
yeah. I mean, let's see. So the more popular ones are the ones that were kind of the first to enter the game,
Mhm,
and those are the ones that have been around for the longest time
mhm.
and have had the most advancements. And those are the anti-aging peptides.
Okay.
And those, their specific category, they're called GHRPs, and that
Mhm,
stands for growth hormone releasing peptide. So what that does, like I said before, it's not as if you are entering or bringing human growth hormone or growth hormone externally into your body.
mhm.
You're telling your pituitary gland to produce more human growth hormone naturally.
Okay.
So as you get older, just like testosterone, human growth hormone secretion slows down. So in order to get that back up, traditionally before peptides, the only option you had was to inject yourself with human growth hormone. And that itself, though it does work very, very well, and it's very good at what it does, it comes with a high rate and high risk of potential side effects.
Okay.
For instance, if you have a cancerous growth anywhere on your body, the human growth hormone that you're injecting will actually help to feed that cancerous growth and make it grow faster.
Mhm.
Whereas the growth hormone releasing peptide is a naturally released human growth hormone from your own body.
Mhm.
So it's more controlled, it's designed for you, it's specifically built for your body to help your body grow. So having that switch, we'll say, turn back on in a positive direction leads to a lot of anti-aging properties. It'll help you recover faster. It will help you to heal faster. Increases the metabolism, and pretty much everything that comes along with replication of cells.
Okay. So again, you're very specific on that one to make sure that our viewers and listeners know that there's a wild difference between injecting HGH and
Mm-hmm.
taking a growth hormone activating peptide. Is that what you said?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Right. And so there's a difference in the actual mechanism of delivery, and then there's a difference in the expected results, whether they be good or bad.
Yes, exactly. Because with human growth hormone, you're injecting yourself directly with human growth hormone that goes right to work.
Right.
It's faster acting. It gets into the system quicker, and it's designed to just make everything grow. Whereas the GHRPs, or growth hormone releasing peptide, go a step, I guess, in front of where human growth hormone starts and goes at the production of human growth
Right.
hormone.
Right. So it's telling your body to do, just do it better and so forth. So
Exactly.
some of the specifics that you said it can do is general health, right?
Mm-hmm.
So peptides in general,
Yep.
and or that one specifically can just help at our general health.
Yes, yeah, that one definitely helps overall health.
Mhm.
And if you get into more specific areas that you want to, say like heal faster
Mhm.
or tweak in some way, there are other peptides that are, more geared towards specific purposes that have come out in the recent years,
Okay.
since the development of the original GHRPs.
Okay, so the GHRPs were kind of like at the forefront of the peptides, and
Mhm.
then as science and everything started to get better and became more accepted, then they started branching out, just kind of like everything else.
Yeah, so I mean, if you wanted to add an extra set of letters into the acronym, it'd be like the GHRPOGs.
Okay. I see what you did there. I see what you did
Yeah.
there. The OGs. All right. So there's a couple of topics that I wrote down that if I'm interested, I'm sure somebody else is probably interested in it, right? We all want to look good and so forth. So you kind of talked about the anti-aging. I want to talk about muscle building. Every time I see you on there, you look better. You look stronger.
Yeah, when I'm not in the hospital or something. Yeah.
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 So I want to
But
talk about the muscle building. Like I want to get bigger. Who does it?
okay. Yeah. So for that, let's see, we have a couple different options. Ibutamoren, or MK677,
Mhm.
that is a very good muscle building peptide. It's actually at its core, it's a ghrelin, which basically means it makes you hungry. So when you're trying to develop proteins and process amino acids and proteins to build muscle, you need fuel, you need food.
Mhm.
So when you're in that muscle building mode, it makes it easier for your body to take in the fuel that it needs to build the muscle. So by making you hungry, but with that one, you got to be careful, watch your diet, make sure that you're not filling yourself with donuts and pizza and, all the bad stuff that tastes really good. But,
Do you have a peptide for that? That'll make that taste bad?
Well, okay.
That would be awesome, wouldn't
it? There's a peptide that will slow down the appetite.
Oh yeah.
And help you control it. But
so you can go in both directions with this.
Yeah. It just won't make that taste bad, because when you do start eating, it tastes good. But
yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, with the Ibutamoren, that will help to build the muscle, through causing you to help or to ingest more of the fuel that your body needs.
Wow. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I need a peptide for that. I have no problem eating. So does it matter? It doesn't matter what I eat, because I know the answer to that. But
yeah, everyone knows the answer to that. They just don't want to admit it.
Yeah. No, I know the answer to that. But does it matter if my proteins come from chicken, beans, or protein powder?
It doesn't really matter, honestly. Yeah, it works the same way. And that old school mentality of, I always forget what it is. Like you need a gram of protein per pound of muscle weight, that's just old bro science. Your body can only process so much. And once you're getting past a certain threshold, whatever it is for your personal body, you're just pushing your kidneys harder than they should, and pretty much just, eat smart and, smaller meals more often throughout the day, so you're consistently bringing food in. That's the best way to do it.
Dang.
Yeah, I know. and cut down on the alcohol. Everybody hates when I say that, but
yeah, no, I actually have been. You'd be proud of me. I actually have been. I've been really good. Just last night, three beers and over about 4 hours.
Okay.
So that's really good. And then tonight I won't have any. I've been a lot better, because just waking up in the morning is just the worst. Because at 52, the hangovers hang around.
Yeah, all day, if not a whole day into the next day.
Yeah. So then it affects my gym, and it affects me doing everything else. And that's why I'm really into getting rid of the bad, like you alluded to, staying healthy, and then if I can get some safe help, from Hormone Health and Wellness, then I'd like to do that. So we kind of talked about muscle building.
Yep.
And you alluded to it earlier. I kind of wanted to talk about, recovering from an injury or an illness, and how peptides can potentially help there.
Yes, exactly. So injury or illness, there are two separate ones. Well, okay, so two separate categories. There's, for the injury recovery, depending on what type of injury it is, there are two, I guess the two best options would be BPC 157 or Thymosin Beta. And BPC 157 is more geared towards overall healing and anti-inflammation. So it basically prevents your body from swelling everything up and allows the body to heal faster through doing that. And it's really phenomenal for things like rheumatoid arthritis, joint pain, anything that is causing you discomfort through inflammation. And that also carries over into the gut. So if you have an inflamed gut, Crohn's disease, irritable bowel syndrome, BPC will help with that for sure. It's not, like anything else, it's not going to be a 100% cure, but, it's a good, more natural type of solution, to things like that. And Thymosin Beta, that one is very, very good for muscle tissue, ligament tissue, or tendon damage. So if you have a torn muscle, a torn ligament, or something that's partially torn and not like completely ripped apart, if there's still material to kind of regrow, then the Thymosin Beta will actually help that material regrow back to itself. So, for someone who has a, partial tear in, anything, like rotator cuff, labrum, knees, meniscus, something like that, that will actually potentially keep them out of having to have surgery.
If I'd have known that 8 months ago, I told you, I told you, obviously I told you I had that surgery on my knee, but everything is great. I'm 100%. I'm better than I was before. My knee is stronger. I have more confidence in it. Everything. It's actually better than before the surgery.
Did they use ligament from your own body or a cadaver?
So mine wasn't torn mine was, I don't even know if the word torn is right. There was a partial tear. It was dirty in the meniscus, and a piece of the bone was kind of growing over. So when he went in there arthroscopically in like 10 minutes, he cleaned it all up, and he didn't have to reattach anything.
Okay.
So it was arthroscopic. He was in and out, and he said like 10, 12 minutes. It took
Okay.
him longer to explain what he did than to actually do it.
Good to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I had him on my show. So I'll have to send you the link to it. So
Yeah. Yeah.
because on it, he said he puts the pictures up of what it looked like before and what it looked like after.
Okay.
He did that.
Nice. Yeah.
But
that's definitely helpful.
yeah. So
Mhm.
I would have loved to have had that option, to see, or when I was recovering, because
Yeah.
I think I told you also after the surgery, I had no confidence in my knee. So if that's forward, I kind of felt that anytime I put backward pressure, my knee would just collapse backward. It wouldn't, but that was what was going on in my head.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
And I explained that to him. He's like, yeah, it's not going to do that. I'm like, I get it.
But I'm still thinking that it might.
Yeah.
I mean, I know exactly what you're thinking because I don't know if you can see the scar. I don't know. It's kind of tough, but down here, I snapped the radius on my arm doing a strongman training with an Atlas stone, just broke it in half. And I have a titanium plate in there and 5 pins. And they like after the surgery, I was afraid to do anything with it because I kept having these thoughts, like even though it wasn't going to happen, I just imagined like lifting a weight and having the whole thing just snap again. It just would not leave my head. But it goes away.
Obviously.
Yes.
Did you get the lift that time it broke, or was it before the lift or after?
No.
Oh, okay.
It was what the Atlas stones are, like those concrete boulders. Yeah. I got up to 220 pounds. I just did 200 and I was getting ready to do 220. And I shifted my grip from, like this point to some reason I went like this and all the weight was on my left arm. When I lifted up off the ground, just that lifting snapped the arm. Just lifting it off the ground.
And obviously you knew immediately. It was.
Yeah, I dropped and I grabbed my arm and like, yep, that's not good.
Oh, man, I'm sorry to hear that. Oh, all right. Sorry, everybody, to put everybody else through that too. For both that too. So
I wish I had the peptides back then too, but
that would have definitely made it. Definitely would have shortened your time, probably increased your confidence, right, and got you healing faster. And then in 2 ways, because physically it's going to help you heal faster, but emotionally, psychologically, it's going to help you heal faster. You're going to do your PT with more vigor, right? Because you're not worried about it, and it's going to enhance the results from that.
Which I do have also an experience with that when I tore my labrum in my right shoulder doing yoga. Crazy, I know, it was intense, from strongman to yoga. I actually used Thymosin Beta and BPC injections, like directly into the shoulder, and did my PT with that. And through MRI results, I was able to see that the partial tear was actually repaired in 2 months.
Wow. Wow.
Yep. So it's true. I mean, I have like visual documentation. I mean, I know what medications I was taking. I can't really prove that, but I know they work.
Okay. And that was which one? The Thymosin Beta?
That was a combination of BPC and Thymosin Beta.
Which were the first two you talked about from injury recovery. Okay.
Yeah. And then touching back on the original question for the illness portion, Thymosin Alpha, it sounds like Thymosin Beta, but they're actually very different in the way that they work. Thymosin Alpha boosts the immune system by helping the body to produce more T cells. And that can help to fight off a viral infection, bacterial infection. And if you are not currently fighting an infection like that, it will help to prevent you from catching it. So that's something that you can take year round just to make yourself healthier, and to be safe, safe from disease.
So I mean, now we're obviously just had a pandemic, right? So the obvious question, anybody watching or listening, that's what that was outside. I mean, you're in Florida.
We don't have pandemics down here.
I'll leave that there. I'll try to keep this down the middle, folks. Down the middle.
Okay.
So the obvious question that, for somebody listening or watching, you just said that can help prevent you from catching or potentially healing from. So my question would be, all right, COVID. I'll just throw the word out there.
Okay.
So what did you say about that, the peptide you just talked about in COVID?
Yeah, so Thymosin Alpha would be fairly effective at preventing any type of infection. So in theory, yes, it would be helpful.
And then kind of like the vaccines that are currently on the market, they're not 100. Obviously, they don't really even stop infection, right?
Yeah.
but they are helping, or supposedly helping people not have a severe reaction to the infection.
That's what I've heard.
Okay.
And I'm not pro or anti, I'm either way. I'm just science, and results. And from what I have seen, what I've read, what I've heard from multiple practitioners is that yes, it does help to subside the symptoms.
Okay.
So you can, potentially stop something that could have been very bad, from getting to that point.
Right. So with this peptide, how would you, I don't want to say rank or rate, but how would you say how that's going to help me? Like, say I test positive for COVID today, would you recommend that if I could get that as soon as possible, the peptide?
Yeah, absolutely. I would 100% recommend getting that as soon as possible. And, like a lot of people are on the ivermectin train and, things like that for a while. Yeah, those have potential to work too, but I'm just a big fan of letting your body do the work, and having Thymosin Alpha in your system or getting into your system as quickly as possible is the best way to do that, through using peptides on whatever type of viral or bacterial infection we're talking about.
Okay.
Because it makes your system, it's like putting a bulletproof vest, on your body, at a white cell level.
Okay.
Or giving your white blood cells, like assault rifles.
So they can actually go on the offensive better.
Yes.
Okay. So this isn't necessarily defense. So I'm glad you said that, because there's two different things. So the bulletproof vest or body armor would be passive, right? You actually are saying that my white blood cells, which are my army, right?
Yes.
They are my army, and that's what they're designed to do, is to go fight infection.
Yeah.
You're going to help them fight it better.
Yes. So that's what it is. It's offense, or it's defense through offense.
You
more specifically.
You got my attention.
So it's adding more, units to your army with better armament.
Yeah. So that's fantastic. That's fantastic. So now for all these peptides, kind of like vaccines wear off, like there's a period before they actually take effect, and there's an effective period, and we could chart all that kind of stuff out, right? At some point with some vaccines, whether they be from 1920 or 2020, we can kind of chart that.
Yep.
How are peptides like that? I take it, there's a ramp up, then there's a time, and then if I stop taking it, how long do I keep those benefits?
That's tough. I mean, that's a good question. And, the data is still, like kind of coming in, it's looking at things like that requires a lot of retesting after someone, stops taking insert X peptide name. And it would require, case studies as well to see, a grouping of patients, how long the effects last after they stop taking the medication. But generally, it's about a month. There's a residual period, of different things lasting for different amounts of time. And the easiest ones to test for, would be things like the growth hormone releasing peptides, because we can directly test the IGF-1 level, and that's kind of the body's marker, or what we use as a marker, because you can't directly test for HGH, but you can test for things that react to HGH. So the higher the reaction, the higher that number, the more you can gauge is in the body. And if you do that IGF test before they start taking the medication, after they are on the medication, and then after they stop, then you can kind of gauge like that. I guess. Yeah,
that chart, right?
Yeah, the chart. Yeah, thanks.
So it's kind of,
there's that word.
I think it was like in our first or second podcast, one of the things that I know you guys focus on with the Hormone Health and Wellness is making these things personal, right? Making it for Corey, and through testing, like you just said, you're able to testing, evaluation, all the other different things, patient questionnaires and everything. You're able to dial it down to where A, it's going to save you money because these aren't free, but B, I should say A, it's going to make it more effective, right?
Yes.
It's going to make it the most effective, because there becomes a point where too much is not doing any better.
Yeah, exactly. You're doing more harm than good, by overdoing it, and bigger is not always better, that kind of thing. And with, the way that we run, the protocols and the way that we monitor everyone, it is case by case basis, even within that, because we'll do the baseline testing and look for markers that may become a problem down the road, and then continue to watch those through specific testing. Like if we get someone that comes through the door and their testosterone level, is very low, but their lipid profile is horrendous, You know, obviously we're going to monitor that, make sure that they start taking care of themselves and have a better diet and get their cholesterol under control, because the cholesterol with a high testosterone level, and again, it has to be extremely high, but you know, that can thicken the blood and lead to cardiovascular issues down the road. And you know, we don't want to put someone in that position just because they want to feel better. You know, we got to make sure that they're doing the work. And you know, if we run a couple blood tests and we don't see the improvement in their cholesterol, then we'll either, you know, lower their testosterone level or just take them off testosterone and switch to something, you know, more natural, you know, because they're just not putting in the work on their end.
Okay. Yeah. So these things aren't free, right? You kind of got to do the work.
Yeah, you got to be responsible for yourself, as well as, you know, take the advice that you're given. You know, like, you know, the diet thing, you know, getting someone, you know, that, you know, is on the other end of the line saying, well, you know, I'm not losing as much weight as I thought. I'm doing everything you're telling me. If like, you know, they're not really dieting and they're not watching what they're putting in their body, then, you know,
Yeah.
they're just doing themselves a disservice.
Yeah. 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 My wife is a fitness professional, has been for like over 10 years. And
Mm-hmm.
she's getting new education now to expand what she knows and what she can offer and how she can take care of her clients. And that's how she said most clients leave. As soon as you ask them the food journal, can you
Yep.
food journal for 42 hours, 48 hours? Cricket.
Yep.
Like,
Wait, you're gonna have to tell you what I eat?
yeah, exactly.
I thought I could just lie to you.
As long as the check clears, you can say what you want. But if you want
Yeah.
results, right? If you want
Yes.
results, and I want my good name, you know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean?
Yeah.
So it's for me, it's easy. When I take people to the range and they have to shoot, they
Mm-hmm.
can lie all they want. I could tell in 10 seconds if they had practiced what I told them to practice
Right.
or not, you know? So
Yeah.
I have it easy.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of like me with the blood test. You know,
Yeah.
I don't get it as often.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, but when I do see it, it's like, come on, you
Yeah.
can't lie to me.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
This is
The
not what it
numbers
says.
don't lie.
No, they don't. Science. You just said it. Science.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
All right. So anything else under the illness side?
No, not really. I mean, there are some antimicrobial things that are in development that are coming out, like LL37, that will help with like mold infestation, you know, like the black mold, you know, that people are allergic to.
Okay.
If there is a infestation into the body, then that would be a good peptide to use. It's still in development, but you know, the early studies have shown very, very positive results. So we might be getting access to that soon.
Mhm.
But then again, that's a very, you know, small group of people that
Yeah.
would need that. So
Yeah.
that hinders a lot of bigger development on all these, you know, specific peptides. There has to be a broad usage group, you know, to bring it to market.
Right. Right. Right.
Otherwise, you know, the money that it takes and the development and the investment and the research, it's not worth it to the people that do that.
Mhm.
You know, something like fat loss, yeah, you know, that's a popular one because
Yeah.
everybody
Yeah.
wants to,
Everybody
you
wants
know,
that.
not everyone, but yes, a very strong, high percentage of people want to lose weight.
All right. So let's talk about that.
Yeah,
Peptides
nice.
and weight loss.
You like that segue right there?
Yeah, that's good. That's good. And Dean Kamen couldn't have done
Yeah,
that better.
couldn't have done it better. Yeah, so let's see. Semaglutide is probably the most popular right now as far as the weight loss goes, and that is an insulin modulator. So it regulates the amount of insulin that your body produces and how much it uses, which carries over into the amount of blood or glucose, you know, blood sugar that is processed and how it's done. So the first thing it does is it goes into the fat stores and starts burning off the current fat that you have as energy. So it takes that fat, converts it back to glucose, and gives you energy. And then it controls through dieting and through appetite, how much you put into your body. So you, and I kind of use this as a way to explain it, you know, to kind of visualize stuff. If you're ever, you know, in like, I don't know if you have up by you, Texas Day Brazil, like Brazilian steakhouse,
Yeah.
all you can eat, you know,
Yeah.
like you walk in there, everything smells good. You want to eat everything. You're seeing people walk around like slicing meat off of,
Yeah.
you know, whatever they have. Like, yeah, I want some of that. Hold
Yeah.
up your sticker or whatever.
Yep.
Anyway, that feeling that you get when you smell the food and when you see it, that desire, that hunger, it doesn't happen. It's just you look at the food and you're like, that could be good, but yeah, I'm not interested right now.
Wow.
You know, and it's not a appetite suppressant like methamphetamine, like ephedrine or phentermine, which comes with its own like real big risks. You know, obviously, you know, anybody who knows those words, they associate that with like not good, You
Yeah.
know, yeah. Methamphetamine, no,
Yeah.
that doesn't sound good.
Walter Wallace. Yeah. No,
Yeah, nope. Yeah, it leads to heart palpitations, heart attack, blood pressure issues, lots of bad stuff. But they do work. That's why they're out there. They do work. But with this, it doesn't cause any of that. It just controls the way that your body processes the food and whether or not you're interested in it. And it does that because it's processing the energy that it needs in the back, behind the scenes.
Right.
So you're not hungry, even though you could probably eat some food. You're not feeling that like ravenous desire, to eat something. But back to what you were talking about before about like things not tasting good. It doesn't do that. When you start eating the food, it still tastes amazing, and you realize like, oh yeah, I actually like this. I should have ate this before. But then you're full a lot quicker than you would be, so the portion sizes are automatically controlled. So you limit yourself through like your body just not needing as much as it should, or as you're used to.
As you used to. Okay.
So
I
all
could
you can
still
eat.
put on size if I'm doing, like, it's not going to hinder my ability to put on size if I were to do.
Yes, it's just going to help you control have more control over the types of calories that you put in your body, because you're not going to drive by McDonald's and say, oh yeah, quarter pounder, I want that right now. Like you're just going to like, no, I'm going to eat when I get home.
Yeah.
Something like that.
So it's kind of like that body's natural satiety, whatever signal that your body sends you. I'm good. Like I've had enough. It's kind of helping with that, right?
Yes, exactly. It just gives you more control over those instinctive feelings, on a molecular level.
So, and that's huge because I'm that guy. Like I'm like, oh, I want that. Like when you my mouth is watering now when you talk about those Brazilian steakhouses.
Yeah. Oh man,
it's awesome.
Yeah, the chimichurri steak that they have, where it's like marinated in it. And, Anyway, yes.
Yeah. So I'm gonna need you to email me some peptides if you can.
Okay. Oh yeah, I'll do that.
All right. So we kind of talked about weight loss, fat loss, right? Any other categories of peptides that maybe I didn't touch on? We kind of talked gut health. We glossed over gut health a little bit, but I had asked you about that. If there's anything.
Gut health, the BPC, we were talking about that. If you wanted to do BPC specifically for gut health, switching it from an injectable to an oral would be a better option, because that's going to help with going directly into the digestive system and dispersing to where it's actually needed right away.
Okay. Because I hear that phrase. I didn't hear that phrase. I don't think I heard it 5 years ago. Gut health. Yeah. And now it's in every other commercial.
Yeah, exactly.
Every other
all over the place, because it is. I mean, it's important. Yeah. It's where a lot of the diseases come from, and where a lot of disease prevention comes from. It's all in, the bacteria, the good and the bad that's going on in your gut.
So it's kind of like that army that we were talking about with the white blood cells and the T cells. We got to arm them, give them good guns, but we also got to feed them right. So everything has got to be good. So we got to provide a good environment for them to be in. So they're not wasting time over here, and they're able to focus to when they're needed.
Yes. Yeah. I like that we're keeping that, analogy going.
Good. Yeah. All right. So anything else on peptides? That you want to talk about? Because
trying to think of some other, new ones that are in development. Okay. Well, there's one that is on the more expensive side, and it's called Epitalon or Epitalon. Just, like any of these things, I try to pronounce it with whatever doctor, whatever accent they use, whoever came up with it. And Epitalon or Epitalon was created by a French physician, geneticist, and from France, and he has a very thick accent when he talks about it. So that's just stuck in my head. He's Epitalon, but that one actually it lengthens the telomeres of your cells, and telomeres are the age of your cells, and the longer they are, the younger they are. So this actually lengthens them, and that has been proven through testing. Like 10 times out of 10, it works. Wow. So it actually makes you younger. Like truthfully, it's just you even to get the test, it's like $5,000 just to get a lab to do it. And the product itself, I think you do it 2 to 3 times a year. 2 times is probably good enough, but each therapy run is probably going to be about $7,500, at a discounted price.
Okay. So that's how these rich actors look who's so young, right?
They're going to live forever. Yeah, pretty much. You know, because that, I mean, the peptide world is just getting more and more in depth. And as these things, you know, start coming out, you know, with the stuff that's in development, you know, become more available, then yeah, you're going to see an extension in life cycles for sure.
Really? Wow. So I guess obviously the answer is going to be no. It's never too late, but is how, like, is it between reversing, pausing, slowing the aging? Like, what are we actually doing?
Well, okay, so Epitalon actually reverses it. So that one reverses the process, whereas, you know, something like Thymosin or CJC Ipamorelin and the growth hormone releasing peptide, they slow the process, you know, or, you know, kick on the process that keeps you young. They start it because that, you know, it starts dissipating or diminishing as you get older. I think with the IGF levels in the human growth hormone, you really see a borderline shutdown at around age 50. You know, I hate throwing numbers like that out, but that's just generalizing, like, to a crazy degree. I mean, you know, have some of these kids that are born, you know, with growth hormone deficiencies, you know, are not 50, but, you know, they have it. It's a rare case, but, you know, it's still something that you have to talk about. You can't just say at 50, your growth hormone production is going to stop. You know,
obviously there's lifestyle and everything else has to do in it.
Yeah, exactly. And sleep patterns, you know, that's a big one for growth hormone release, because if you're not sleeping, you're not releasing growth hormone. So it's just, you're going to have a really rough time as you get older, because, you know, your body is already fighting, you know, a battle with aging, and, you know, you're adding to that fire, if you will, by not sleeping, because you're not giving your body time to produce.
So we talked about this before. When you're talking about the sleeping, and then your body can't release growth hormone unless you're sleeping. But when you're sleeping, if your growth hormone is working properly, you're saying, I think you get better sleep, or your sleep cycles can be improved.
Yeah. So if you're someone who suffers from, you know, sleeping issues of any kind, you know, like I'm one of those people where, like, I will fall asleep on a runway with planes taking off, but I won't stay asleep. You know, like I will be asleep in like a dead sleep in the deepest stage for, you know, a solid 2 hours, and then I'll just be up, you know, and that's been a problem. But with the usage of growth hormone releasing peptides, or GHRPs, you take them at night before you go to sleep. I mean, you can take them in the morning too, but you need to take it really close to the window that you wake up, so that you're having some of that residual resting period to release a little bit. But generally you want to take it before you go to bed. And by doing that, it puts you into a deeper state of sleep, so that if you're one of those people like me who, you know, sleeps sporadically in that deeper stage, you get a better benefit from the times when you are asleep. So it increases that limited time that you have because of whatever issue you're dealing with, insomnia, or, you know, for me, I guess I did a sleep study, and I skip over a couple stages of sleep. So I skipped like the first two, and I just go straight into the third.
Oh, wow.
You know, and my reaction to that, to the doctor, was, oh, well, that's good. And he said, no, it's not good, because you're not giving the myelin sheath the time to, like, coat the brain. So apparently I don't reset completely. So yeah, but it messes with my dreams and things. But going on a rant, for someone who does have sleep issues, it will help to increase the quality of the sleep that you do get, and, you know, turn it into, you know, if you get 2 hours, it could probably equate to 4. You know, 4 hours could equate to 8, that kind of thing.
Okay. So we're maximizing the training time of that army that we're making stronger, faster, and better. And now the limited time we can pull them off the line to go train, i.e. sleep, they're going to get more out of that 2 hours.
Yes, exactly. A higher quality trainer, or a higher.
We're not letting them do this while they're supposed to be training, right?
No, they are doing exactly what they need to do.
Wow.
Yeah.
I hope everybody could track these analogies. I like these analogies.
Yeah.
I know some people are rolling their eyes. I know some people are like, Corey, shut up and let the smart guy talk. Let the smart guy talk.
You're giving me too much credit. Yeah.
You haven't seen the reviews from that I get.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't look at any of the posts.
Yeah, no.
I probably should.
No, I said when there's so most of the questions I get from them, that's for what our next podcast. So every time I start throwing these things out, those are what I'll get from them.
Okay.
I categorize them and put them in there. Plus, then, you know, it's like free for me, so I can answer anything I want.
What if we did something, like more interactive too with the users? They can post a question.
We absolutely can do that.
Answer them all.
We can absolutely do that. So all
right, the harder the better.
So now what we're going to have to do is coming up maybe in the fall, we're going to do a live Zoom. We'll have people on live and people can throw questions in the chat box. I'll get another person to be the moderator, and then they'll read us the questions that come on, and we'll have a lesson plan just like this.
All right.
Nobody can see, but I take notes. I'm sure everybody could tell because I keep looking down to the left.
What's going on over there?
Over there. Yeah. But we could definitely do that and then have that live interaction. I like those kind of things.
Yeah, actually. I love that.
The harder the better. I felt like I was throwing you some good questions.
No, definitely. It's just like when because that would be kind of similar to at some of these conferences. I'll do live questionnaires with physicians asking me stuff, and it's nerve-wracking sometimes, but it's also invigorating, especially when you can get the crowd interacting and everybody kind of bouncing ideas off of each other. It becomes a round table type of discussion. Like I love that.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I never thought of that. Well, yeah, since you asked, you could actually do it this way, like it's fun and it sparks new ideas.
So that's great from you. So again, I know you're humble, but I mean, we're getting like somebody who's been in the fight, right? You've been in this fight. When you have physicians, not just Corey, Safetyman, with zero medical training, you have actual physicians that are in this field asking you questions, and you're able to satisfy their curiosity, answer their questions, point them in the right direction, and obviously you're getting feedback from them.
Yeah, I get called the peptide guru all the time, through emails and things, and these are MDs that have been in the industry for years, like decades, and it's flattering, but I just look at it as it's fun. Like I love talking about this stuff all the time.
The reason I bring it up is, again, I want people listening to this to be like, I want them to give you that credibility. I still want people to Google, do the homework, talk to the physician, and all that things. I would never say anybody just take this program and go run out and do something, right? We always want people to do things smart and safe. Plus, Hormone Health and Wellness isn't going to just send you stuff. Like you still have to do the work, right? You still have to do the work. Yeah.
And if you find any of those websites out there that don't do that or that don't require certain things, and you kind of get a weird feeling about it, just run the other way. Yeah, because especially if it says not for human consumption or research purposes only. That's the biggest one. If it says research purposes only, just do not give them your money. Don't do it.
So it may seem cheaper, faster, and easier, but you're putting your body at risk, right?
There's a reason. Yes. And I could give you a list of horror stories that I have heard. And, one of the biggest ones, I'll actually just go into it and not rant too long, but I won't say what website they got this from, but, it is a very popular one. And they had a order of 5 vials of, I believe it was a combination of CJC, Ipamorelin, and Thymosin in one mixture, which, I mean, if any biochemist will tell you, they will destroy each other. If they're put in the same vial, it's just they don't work together. They cancel each other out and just turn it into regular water. But anyway, someone took one vial, went through all the injections, and everything was fine, and then started their second vial from the same shipment that had the same lot number on the medication, and they were driving to work, and for 10 to 15 minutes went completely blind, couldn't see anything.
Wow.
Had to pull over to the side of the road, put the hazards on, thought that they were like on the median, just out of traffic, weren't really sure, cars were honking. It was terrifying, and they had no idea what was going on, couldn't even see their phone to call someone for help. And they're telling me this, like that was 15 minutes after their injection of the new vial.
Wow.
Of the same thing that did absolutely nothing negative to them, the vial prior.
Right. So obviously they stopped. They didn't take another one.
Threw it away, and I told them, on the phone, it's like, I'm not going to judge you, but I will recommend to never do anything like that, because there is no way, one, that that company would provide you, testing results, because they don't get them. If they do, they don't have to have them, because you're buying your own risk, and that's how they run their businesses. We don't do that. We assume all the responsibility by making you do the right thing.
Right. So that's, again, this is why, like, I'm glad you just told that story, and I'm glad this is what I want our viewers and listeners to feel and know. Like I had the good fortune of being able to talk to you for a long time before we actually even started doing these shows. So now our viewers and listeners are starting to realize, all right, this guy knows what he's talking about, and because I'm very discerning when I do things. Like I'm always looking for the angle. I'm always looking to call BS on somebody.
Yeah.
You know, that's
Mhm.
just that's my personality. Ask anybody who knows me, like, yeah, Corey's got a pretty good BS monitor.
Yeah.
He definitely does. You know?
Yeah. So does my wife, but she married me. So,
It was broken that day.
yeah, it was broken that day.
Yeah. She's gonna need some more T cells.
Yeah. Mhm.
All right, so that's fantastic. So I wanted to talk about compounds, but I think we're probably better off saving the compounds for our next episode. Kind
Okay.
of tease everybody for that. But
Mhm.
you know, we did a. I didn't even think we were going to have 40 minutes of stuff to talk about for peptides, and we definitely did. We had about 45 minutes of
Yeah.
peptides, which is awesome.
Seems to
Which is
always happen
awesome.
that way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it does. So that's anything else you want to add on the end of that before we tell our viewers.
I mean, I'll say no, but of course something will probably pop up, I don't know. Just I'm really looking forward to the idea of that live one.
Yeah.
The live getting people on here and asking questions
Mhm.
and doing that with a live audience.
Cool. Cool. Yeah, me too.
Mhm.
Definitely. So I would probably just turn into a moderator at that point. Yeah. All right. Now from Texas, I got Texas
Yeah.
State Brazil.
Mhm.
asked,
Texas State, Brazil.
Stop telling people not to eat all stuff.
What's the recipe for that churrasco? Well,
Yes. And they would
garlic.
never be able to give that.
Lots
Yes.
of garlic.
Love garlic. That's my second favorite food is garlic.
Yeah, so good, and it's so good for you.
Yes.
It's amazing.
So what
So healthy.
all the things that we talked about, we'll have the links to those in the description. So if you do call Hormone Health and Wellness, and it can minimize the amount of time you have to spend on the phone with Andrew, the patient care coordinator. If you're like, yeah, I listened to your podcast, I saw your YouTube,
Mhm.
and if they could say CJC or whatever it is, it kind of help.
Mhm.
It would help
Yep.
you.
Yeah,
Doesn't mean that's what
definitely.
they're going to get, but it'll help you figure out at least what their goal is, right?
Mhm.
You're going to do that thing anyway.
Yep.
But we'll have all those notes in there for because I was trying to write down all these letters, but it looks like I'm playing Scrabble on my paper with a bunch of letters and numbers.
Did we mention the 10% discount for active military first responders?
I think we just did.
Okay, that was okay.
So
I
say
just
that
didn't
again.
know. I didn't know if we ever mentioned that in any of the podcasts, but
No,
yeah,
I don't know.
we've had a constant promotion. That's just what we do.
Okay.
Since the start. Anyone who's active military, firefighter, physicians, nurses, police officers. I don't know about park rangers, but maybe might be able to give them a 5% discount. But yeah, any first responder, 10% discount on everything medication wise.
Okay.
The blood work doesn't apply just because we don't get a discount for that at all.
Right.
We just charge the patient, what we pay so that we can get them the blood work that we want. Because it's like nickel and diming people if you're charging for blood work, or making a profit off of something you need. It's just, I don't know, it doesn't sit well. So ethically, we don't do it. But yeah, for first responders, we like to take care of them, and they're obviously putting their lives on the line. Might as well give them something.
So looking at it from a completely outside perspective is almost selfish, because I want the cop that's potentially coming to my house or the firefighter to be that class A 100% slept well, strong, fit, ready to go. If he's gonna have to carry my silly ass out the window.
Thank you. That's exactly what I was going to say. Like, I'm a big guy. If my house is on fire and I'm passed out, I want to know that the firefighter that's coming to get me can carry me outside.
Yep.
Or that, the police officer that's going to help me from someone who's attacking me has a better shot, of defending me.
Yep. 100% there. So 10%. First responders, active duty first responders, military, firefighters, police officers, nurses, doctors, you said, that because they're obviously front line. We saw with this pandemic. So again, as a retired police officer, I want to say thank you for that. It means, I know it means a lot to any active duty law enforcement officer who's listening to this, that you're still loved, you're still appreciated. Keep doing the work.
Absolutely.
Keep doing the work out there. So I'm going to end on that note. So this was Andrew Tylander from Hormone Health and Wellness of the Palm Beaches, Hormone Health and Wellness at the Palm Beaches. I'll be able to link right to his website, right from the notes in the description of this YouTube and podcast right there. And check out some of our other ones. We went over a lot of stuff in the first two. We're just keep updating, guys. You can see there's a lot of stuff going on, and some of the stuff we're going to talk about things we did in the past, and maybe they've gotten better. Maybe, they're people are learning how to apply them better, getting better results and so forth. So we're going to keep you updated on that. So I'm Safetyman, safetyman.co, Andrew Tylander, Hormone Health and Wellness. Andrew, as always, thanks for your time. Thanks for your, and what do you say, the peptide guru?
Yeah, peptide guru.
All right.
I didn't give myself that name.
Well, you should have said it to me, is what I'm going to say.
Yeah.
All right. Everybody, be safe.